I'm sure many of you out there who are into vintage PCs want your collection to last a long time. Now, there comes a certain age for every PC where hard drive availability will become an issue. Right now, you can get these types of drives like you see on top of this particular Packard Bell. This is an 8 GB drive, I think, from 1999. These drives last a long time because I knew how to build hard drives back in the day. But they're not going to last forever because every hard drive inevitably dies. Now, when you can't replace the hard drive anymore, what do? What's your solution? Your solution is something like this. This is a CF card to IDE adapter. And you can install this in an old machine, and you can even buy a special one to put in laptops to make them last a long time. So if any of you are into nostalgia or vintage software, this is the way to go. This is the future of storage on vintage computers because these cards are cheap and widely available. The CF cards, that is. And it's basically an SSD, but not really. We're going to install one in this computer. This is the hard drive that came out of this particular computer. It's a Western Digital Caviar 28400. It's an enhanced IDE drive. It's about 8 gigs, I think. Yeah, 8 gigs. It says so right up there. And this drive was doing very well in this machine. However, I think it's time to upgrade it to CF card. Now, the CF card I have is smaller than that hard drive, but it's an adequate size for the type of software I'm going to be using, so that's not that big a deal. So, without further ado, let's crack this open and check it out. Here's the inside of this particular Packard Bell. As you can see from the previous video, I have installed that sound card for preparation for the upgrade we're about to do now. So let's take a look at this CF card adapter. I give you a Molex adapter with this particular one, which is nice. And this particular version that StarTech gives you mounts in a card slot, an expansion card slot, which I plan to put right above that sound card there. Now this is convenient because if you want to make backups of your entire system, you can just pull the card out, put it in a card reader, and do that. And that's the main reason I did it with this machine. You'll probably be seeing another one of these adapters in the future for something else that will be a big surprise for all of you. So, the card I've selected for this is one that I had in a digital picture frame for a number of years. Come here. It's a just a random SanDisk 4 GB card, and since this is going to be going to have Windows 95 on it, it's really not going to matter what's on this card or how fast it is because it's not going to really take that much speed to run this thing. All right, leave the card out for now, I guess. But yeah, this is the card itself. Very nice. It has the 40-pin connector right there, but it also has the full IDE connector, which is what I'll be using. So how do you install this? You just stick it in the card slot. Done. And you just screw it in. There we go. Now this thing is installed, and it just looks like a weird tiny card in your system. Now you gotta find the IDE connector for the hard drive, wherever that went. There it is. Fish that through here. And of course, plug that in to the CF card adapter. Does that fit in there that way? Yeah, it does. Excellent. And the other thing I need is a floppy connector. And that's where this thing comes in handy. See, a lot of old power supplies don't have a ton of floppy connectors or a ton of Molex connectors or a ton of connectors in general. They have just enough to do the job. And that's why you need adapters like this. So let me stick that on real quick. There, we have the floppy connector installed. And when you buy one of these for an old machine, make sure it uses floppy connector for power because some of the ones that don't work properly. Just simple as that. At least for desktops, I would get one that uses a floppy connector. You can also get ones that are not a card slot. You can get some that you just screw somewhere into the case, mount it somewhere, that are cheaper actually. But this one, I wanted the convenience of being able to go to the back slots and being able to just take the card out to back it up. So let me take my CF card and nope, line it up. There we go. There you go. Card is in. And there you go. That will serve as your hard drive now, with all this connected the way it is. So, next step is to install Windows again, and then it will function just like a normal hard drive will. It will come up when you format it in DOS the same way as well. It'll just show up as a normal hard drive. So, I will reinstall Windows and show you the results of it. So, CF card upgrades. This is the future of vintage computing, in my opinion, since you can actually get the cards very easily, and they're still being made and still in use in production hardware, such as digital cameras and things like that. So, button this back up, reinstall Windows, and try it out. You know what also really helps? Plugging in the IDE cable in the right direction, because this one's not keyed at all, the cable itself. So, whoopsie. So let me, yeah, had to fix that real quick. Now let's try booting this up. Okay, now that I have the IDE connector the right way in, let's try this again. And you'll get to hear how quiet these old machines are without a hard drive. No noise whatsoever. And it detected the SanDisk, as you can see. No problem at all. And here's the BIOS screen. So you can see it detected the SanDisk card controller there, and it sees 4 gigabytes right there. See the 4G? Yep. So now all I need to do is reinstall Windows on this machine, and we should be good to go. So I'll go get the Packard Bell Restore disk and get the software back on there. What I'm going to have to do is, since it's using a Packard Bell Master CD, I'm going to have to install Windows 95 from that, which is the RTM version, and then upgrade it to 95B. So that in itself is an odd process. There are other videos explaining how to do it, but that's how I'm going to be doing it, to use the full 4 gigabytes of the CF card. So once I get that all done, I'll show you how the system performs with the card in it, and booting and everything. It's really nothing special as far as an upgrade, but it gives these machines the longevity that they need for those of us who enjoy these vintage computers, like myself and many other people out there. So I'm going to get started reinstalling Windows, and I'll get back to you. Congratulations on the purchase of your new Packard Bell computer. We are sure that it will meet your computing needs. Thank you for choosing Packard Bell. Alright folks, Windows 95 is on here. I have successfully converted it I've successfully converted Windows 95 RTM to 95B. I guess you could call that an upgrade. I have also converted the FAT16 partition to a FAT32 partition, so it takes up the full 4 gigabytes of the CF card, and it worked beautifully. So let's check it out. And yes, the hard drive light still works even on that CF card adapter. Thought I'd mention that. Well, this is a 1024 by 768 monitor. I didn't know that. There you go. Start it up. It's pretty much just as fast as it was with the traditional hard drive. The only difference being that with a card like this, you can just literally copy all the files off, and that's your backup. And the ability to back this up conveniently really matters a lot to me. So everything's installed here. Packard Bell Navigator works. All of it works just absolutely great. But the difference is, for the C drive, I have it's FAT32, and it's about 4 gigabytes. So I've successfully converted this Packard Bell to a CF card. I plan to do this with other vintage machines that I have and get in the future. and I figured I'd show you that it works extremely well. And how quiet this machine is unbelievable. It's seriously quiet. So I'd say this is definitely the future, and this is definitely an upgrade that I think is very good for a lot of vintage machines. It'll make them last a little bit longer, aside from other problems with capacitors and age and things like that. Scarcity of hard drives should not be an issue with these CF card adapters. So in conclusion, this was an excellent upgrade. I definitely recommend CF cards for vintage machines, and if you can get one in a slot like this, it's just really convenient to do backups. So I thought I'd show you this. This is converting the Packard Bell to one. I'm sure you'll see these adapters show up in some other vintage computer videos I do in the future. And I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did. I hope you did too. Anyhow, that's it for this video. Have a good one, everybody. Ciao.